Right on top of this bulletin, the Election Commission has now written to Arvind Kejriwal after he made the genocide charge against the Haryana government. The Election Commission has now sent a missive to the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal stating show proof of Yamuna poisoning. The EC has said furnish proof behind the genocide claim. Arvind Kejriwal has now been given the 8 p.m. deadline tomorrow to furnish proof, or else the Election Commission could take stringent action. That's the latest that is coming in right now. The EC has stepped in. All of this after both the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party approached the Election Commission. The Aam Aadmi Party, Atishi, the Chief Minister, as well as the Punjab Chief Minister, went to the Election Commission stating that the Haryana government was intimidated at least 15 days ago, that there was an alarming rise in the Yamuna of ammonia, and did nothing as per the Aam Aadmi Party. And at the back of that, Arvind Kejriwal made the charge that there is a genocide attempt by the Haryana government where Delhiites are concerned. On the other hand, the BJP has hit strongly back. You had Nirmala Sitharaman, who accompanied the Haryana Chief Minister, Naib Singh Saini, to the Election Commission, stating that strong, strict action be taken against Arvind Kejriwal for making these allegations, which the BJP says are completely factless and are not backed by proof. Let me take you now to the larger story. Now, a day after the Aam Aadmi Party chief, Arvind Kejriwal, accused the BJP government in Haryana of poisoning Yamuna water to impact the Delhi polls. Atishi complained to the EC alleging water terrorism. The BJP and the Congress both have filed separate complaints with the EC over the issue. BJP urging that EC ban Arvind Kejriwal from campaign. Here's more.
अमेरिका ने जापान के अंदर नागासाकी और हिरोशिमा में न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब फेंक दिया था। आज जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने दिल्ली में आने वाले पानी में जहर मिला के भेज दिया है, मैं बीजेपी को कहना चाहता हूं, इतना मत गिरिए, इस हद तक मत करिए।
Yamuna is the latest flashpoint in battleground Delhi. Arvind Kejriwal has accused the BJP government in Haryana of poisoning the river water.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हरियाणा की सरकार ने दिल्ली में यमुना से आने वाले पानी में जहर मिला के भेज दिया है। ये तो हमारे भला हमारे दिल्ली जल बोर्ड के इंजीनियर्स का कि उन्होंने पकड़ लिया। अगर वो पानी दिल्ली के अंदर आ जाता और पीने के पानी में मिल जाता, दिल्ली के अंदर ना जाने कितने लोगों की मौत हो जाती। एक मास जेनोसाइड हो जाता दिल्ली के अंदर।
गंदे पानी पीने पर मजबूर हो रहे हैं। को वोट लेना पड़ा।
Kejriwal's statement provoked angry reaction from the Haryana Chief Minister, who demanded an apology from the Aam Aadmi Party chief.
इस सरासर झूठे और घटिया बयान के लिए वो हरियाणा और दिल्ली की जनता से तुरंत माफी मांगे, वरना हम उसके खिलाफ मानहानि का दावा करेंगे।
Aam Aadmi Party and BJP sent delegations to the Election Commission to present their case.
दिल्ली के वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट 1 ppm 2 ppm तक अमोनिया को ट्रीट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन पिछले कुछ दिनों से लगातार जो अमोनिया का स्तर है 4, 5, 6, 7 ppm तक पहुंच गया है।
There cannot be a more irresponsible statement. Former Chief Minister accused another Chief Minister of an act which is somewhere relatable to genocide. Such is the irresponsibility of Sri Arvind Kejriwal. We highlighted it. We requested the Election Commission to take firm action, such an action that should prevent Sri Kejriwal from campaigning.
The face-off over Yamuna came on a day big guns of the BJP hit the campaign trail, attacking the Aam Aadmi Party government over corruption, civic apathy and lack of development.
मैंने आज उनको पूछा है कि कौन सा जहर मिला है, इसका नाम दीजिए। जहर मिला है, इसका टेस्ट का रिपोर्ट कहाँ है? और आपने पानी रोका तो कम से कम 10 गांव डूब जाने चाहिए थे। एक भी गांव में बाढ़ भी नहीं आई है। तो किस प्रकार से इतना निकृष्ट प्रयास चुनाव जीतने का झूठ बोलकर ये कर रहे हैं।
जब मैं गाजियाबाद से दिल्ली की ओर आ रहा था तो बहनों और भाइयों, यमुना जी जो कभी भारत की पौराणिक नदी के रूप में हम सबकी आस्था की प्रतीक थी, सीवर जैसी बदबू आ रही थी इस पावन यमुना नदी से।
For the Congress, Rahul Gandhi joined the campaign after skipping rallies last week citing ill health. The leader of opposition offered prayers at the Valmiki Mandir and later addressed a public meeting.
पहले आए थे, छोटी सी गाड़ी थी, कहा था नए तरीके की राजनीति करूंगा और कहा था कि साफ राजनीति लाऊंगा। और सबसे बड़ा लिकर का स्कैम दिल्ली में हुआ है और उनके घर की आपने फोटो देख ली।
ये देखिए सारे मीडिया वाले इनका
From accusing the Haryana government of poisoning Yamuna's water to promising a series of freebies to demanding income tax cuts for the middle class, the ruling party is leaving nothing to chance. With Amit Bhardwaj, Anmol Bali and Mausami Singh in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so the big questions that we ask this evening is the Delhi versus Haryana war now over Yamuna pollution. What's behind that? Has Arvind Kejriwal crossed the proverbial Lakshmana Rekha? Is the Aam Aadmi Party spreading panic, disaffection when it comes down to the voters of Delhi without proof? What should the Election Commission do? Before we take all these questions to our political panelists, joining me right now is Mr. Manoj Tiwari, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering and Kotak School of Sustainability, IIT Kanpur. And he's joining us purely, viewers, in the capacity of an expert who will tell us about the Yamuna water and the current ammonia levels, because they are, now, whatever the reason might be, dangerously high. Mr. Tiwari, right now, the levels where the Yamuna is concerned are hovering around 7, which is dangerously high where it comes down for the national capital and the Delhi residents. Whatever the reasons of that is aside. Now, there is a section which says that this is very common during winters where the ammonia levels actually rise, and the BJP has come up with one of the reasons of the sudden rise in the ammonia levels because of the weather. It's winters. Does it really happen in winters?
So, yes, Preeti, this is pretty common actually. So, I think if you look at the data or this thing, this probably becoming an election year has got far-fetched point of debate. But usually, yes, indeed, in every winter, you will see the level of ammonia rise, not only in Yamuna, but across many this kind of rivers across the world. Okay, so there has been US EPA studies on that. There are actually layers to this issue. It's not just about the discharge from the industrial effluent. It's about season. It's about the discharge as well, and the other aspects pertaining to the season and the sources of the pollution that are coming in the river.
So you're saying it's not just, yes, can just winters and the weather, the temperature lead to a rise in ammonia levels from what was a month ago, about 2 or 3 to now nearly 7?
So I would not say that entire increase in the level of ammonia in the Yamuna is purely due to season or temperature effect, that is due to the winter. There has been basically IPCS, which is the International Program on the Chemical Safety. They has very well documented this, that indeed the particularly ammonia has a less solubility in the summer, in the warmer weathers, and higher solubility in the winter in the water. So that is one reason which leads to higher ammonia level in the rivers across the world. There are furthermore, there are decrease in the biological activities which kind of consume some of the ammonia or nitrogen in general from the river waters. So that also leads to increased level in the winter. But one of the most prominent reason for increase in the ammonia is the less flow in the river itself in the winter. So during high flow, there is a lot of dilution, and during the winter, of course, since the flow is less, so the dilution effect also comes into the picture.
So, Mr. Tiwari, basically what you're saying is it's a multiple, number of factors which could lead to the rise of ammonia in the Yamuna. That's correct?
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Mr. Tiwari. Now, let's cut across with all the questions that we pose to our political panelists. Neerja Chowdhury, senior journalist and columnist, is with me. Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, retired spokesperson Congress. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party. Priyanka Kakkar, chief national spokesperson Aam Aadmi Party. Neerja Chowdhury, I want to come to you first, and we'll cut across to our political spokespersons later. This is classic Delhi politics, Neerja Chowdhury. The last time around in 2020, what we saw was a bitter, high-octane battle, highly polarizing in terms of narrative. This time, it's all in. Every possible card is being pulled, and the latest one, genocide in Yamuna.
Yes, there are two sides to this story. One, that Mr. Kejriwal, an ex-chief minister, has made very serious charge against the chief minister of a neighboring state of Haryana, that there is a conspiracy afoot to poison the water of Delhi in order to get political advantage and do down the image of the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, that's a very serious charge, elections or no elections. And I think, of course, the Election Commission has asked him to come up with evidence. But the other part of the story is, if the ammonia level in the Yamuna is so high today, what is the risk to the residents of Delhi? What is being done by the Aam Aadmi Party? What is being done by the central government? How to reduce this? Is this true? Technical experts can vouch for it or not vouch for it. As a resident of Delhi, as a citizen of Delhi, I want to know the answer to that question first. Politics will come later, elections will come later. So the other side of the story, which is the good part of the story, while the parties are wrangling about something like the contamination in the Yamuna, the air, the kind of air we are breathing and our children are breathing, probably cutting short our lives, at least they are becoming central pole issues, which has not been the case in the past. And hopefully, because they become central pole issues and agitate people, hopefully whoever comes to power will do something about it. And I would like to know from the political parties, when I make my choice, what is the action plan, concrete action plan that they have to do this?
Priyanka Kakkar, the charges that you are making, highly unsubstantiated statements where you don't even have the proof to back it. The EC has now come down, send you a letter, a notice, which says that by 8 p.m. tomorrow, the Aam Aadmi Party and the party convener, Arvind Kejriwal, doesn't furbish proof for making statements which practically suggest that the Haryana government is trying to carry out a genocide in Delhi. Then strict action will be taken. Many would say, Priyanka Kakkar, that this is classic Aam Aadmi Party strategy, shoot and scoot without proof.
Good evening, Preeti ji. I think the viewer is very intelligent now. They know that we have never shooted and scooted, and whenever we leveled such any allegation, that has been true. Whenever BJP has leveled any allegation against us, that has not withstood the scrutiny in the court. Now, what has happened in this? You'll recall yesterday that the DJB CEO wrote a letter in the evening, and that letter was all over the media, and in fact, BJP was doing prachar with that letter, saying that, oh, see, the DJB CEO is writing that Arvind Kejriwal ji is factually incorrect. You remember that letter, Preeti ji? I'm sure everyone does. Now, the fourth paragraph of that very letter very categorically states, which obviously it suited the BJP, so they did not read it out. It states that presently the ammonia level in the Wazirapur pond, by the way, Wazirapur pond is the place which, pond may sound small, but it is a huge reservoir. It is a place where you get direct supply of water to Delhi from Haryana. So in the Wazirabad pond, the ammonia level at this time is 6.5 ppm. That is what the letter read. I have the letter with me. I will read it out verbatim also. I'm stressing on this point so that it is clear to everyone that nobody is shooting.
Priyanka Kakkar, the question is not
I'm coming to your question, but it is first
are
important
the
to
levels of
establish.
ammonia
You said
high
there is
in
no
the Yamuna?
evidence.
We accept they are high in the Yamuna. The question is, where is the proof that it is the Haryana government with intent to poison the Delhi residents, the Delhi citizens, are attempting to contaminate the Yamuna water? Where is the proof of that?
That's easy. The letter itself states that वजीरापुर पॉन्ड की बात हो रही है. वजीरापुर पॉन्ड वो जगह है जहां से सिर्फ हरियाणा का पानी आता है, उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए अलग है. I think, I'm sorry, I will be technically incorrect. I don't have the names in front of me right now, but this I can tell you with utmost certainty that Wazirapur Pond receives water from Haryana. There is the proof. We will answer that. I mean, since when does... It's unfortunate today that everyone knows कि election commission हो, Delhi police हो, किसके कैसी भाषा
But okay, I'm going to bring in Sanju Verma. But Priyanka Kakkad, allow me to ask you another rebuttal. No, you're saying nobody is saying that. Yes, I'll allow you to finish, and I'm going to bring in Sanju Verma. Nobody is saying that the ammonia levels in the Yamuna are dangerously high. You had an expert who just detailed that the reason could be manifold. It doesn't really have to do with poisoning. To assume
can I respond?
Allow me to question you. To assume that a state government is poisoning the people without actually proof by saying, oh, because the water is coming in from Haryana, it has to be the state government that is poisoning this water.
Okay, I will, okay, let me first answer this very specifically. Now see, the ammonia levels in Yamuna are somewhere around 2.5 to 3 ppm, and this is what the usual ammonia levels are. But 6.5 ppm is very high and unprecedented. I will draw a little far-fetched analogy, but I'll give you a shorter example. Do you know, BNSS जो अभी act आया है, उसमें causing floods has become
Priyanka Kakkad, I'm going to circle back to you. The fact is, I'm going to come back and ask you. No, how do you know for sure it's the Haryana government? And I'll circle back to you because we're trying to understand what the charge is. Sanju Verma,
Wazirapur Pond mein
Haryana se pani aata hai. We've understood that. Now we'll circle back to you on that, right? Now, Sanju Verma, I want to get you back into introduce you into the conversation along with the Congress spokesperson. The fact is, Sanju Verma, however the ammonia levels in the Yamuna are rising is secondary. The big question is, it's alarming that they've reached a point that they are so dangerous for Delhiites that a proper investigation needs to be carried out. Why politicize the issue? Let's carry out an investigation and figure out why it's rising.
Preeti, that's a very valid question. But first and foremost, since this is a political debate, let me say for the benefit of your audience, I will answer your pointed question. I'll not shove the hard truth under the carpet. But look at Kejriwal. When the AQI index during Diwali rises to more than 550, what does Kejriwal say? ये तो जी LG की गलती है. जब जहरीली हवा का जिक्र होता है, what does Kejriwal say? ये तो LG की गलती है. टूटी फूटी सड़कें, which Kejriwal is responsible for. Who does he blame? ये तो जी BJP और LG की गलती है. जहरीला और बदबूदार पानी. Who does Kejriwal blame? ये तो जी हरियाणा सरकार BJP की गलती है. When we talk of कूड़े का ढेर, the Gazipur landfill, and questions are asked of Kejriwal, he says, मुझसे ना हो पाएगा जी, ये तो LG की गलती है, LG से पूछिए. If हर चीज में Kejriwal points fingers and says, मुझसे ना हो पाएगा, I'm not accountable, ये तो जी LG की गलती है, या हरियाणा सरकार की गलती है, या नोएडा सरकार की गलती है, या दिल्ली के चीफ सेक्रेटरी की गलती है. Pray on earth, why is Kejriwal even aspiring to be the next chief minister of Delhi? Now let me make one very important point. Shilpa Shinde, a reputed IS officer, she is not a BJP's IS officer. She is the CEO of the Delhi Jal Board. I take strong objection to the Aam Aadmi Party saying वो तो BJP की CEO है, वो Delhi Jal Board की CEO है, वो BJP की CEO नहीं है. And Shilpa Shinde, if you read her detailed letter, she says that for a total of 220 kilometers, right from the Hathni Kund barrage to the Wazirabad barrage, Yamuna travels, वहां तक हरियाणा का रोल है. उसके बाद हरियाणा का रोल खत्म हो जाता है And all through that route from Hathri Kund to Wazirabad, the ppm levels are 2.5 to 3 mg per liter. But once it enters Delhi, the ppm level suddenly rises to anywhere between 6.5 to 7 ppm per liter. And she has on record said that is because for the longest time, Delhi Jal Board was under the supervision of an incompetent Aam Aadmi Party which refused to finance water treatment plants which could have treated the high ammonia levels and could have reduced the contamination levels. And Preeti, 1 minute, I heard the lecture of the Aam Aadmi Party for a long time. You need to give me my share of time. Look at Arvind Kejriwal's record. I always say that, if you really have to judge a person, don't go by one incident. 2016, Delhi was battling dengue, or Kejriwal was busy treating his throat infection at Jindal Clinic in Bengaluru. 2021, Delhiites were falling down like a pack of cards during peak COVID. And Kejriwal said, "Mujhse na ho paega ji." And Narendra Modi and Amit Shah had to step in. So Priyanka Kakkad, please shut up and take responsibility.
All right, let's all be civil, and we'll come back to Sanju Verma. Wing Commander Anuma Acharya.
Can you please use better language?
No. Like I said, let's all be very careful about the kind of language we use and be civil. Okay, let's all be civil. Let's all be civil. Let's not. Why are we getting into this? There's no point. Everyone calm down. There's no point. There's a fair amount left for the election. Can we all just be civil?
Let her abuse, it's okay.
Can I need to go? Okay, can I just get the faders down of the two spokespersons? I want to bring in the Congress spokesperson, Anuma Acharya, into all of this. And Ms. Acharya, your party also approached the Election Commission today. What is it that you are asking?
First of all, good evening. And I must tell you that pollution in Yamuna is a real issue, and Delhi pollution is also a major concern. But personally, I feel that instead of focusing on the solution of that matter, mudslinging without suggesting a solution, I mean, they had good 10 years. They were not good enough to explore, analyze, and resolve the issue. I feel that this is just an optics to sensitize the elections, because they want to make the people think, or rather believe, that the fight is between only BJP and Aam Aadmi Party. Initially, they brought in the matter of Sheesh Mahal versus Raj Mahal. Now this issue, in which both are mudslinging at each other but not suggesting solution. And I think this is basically, whereas Congress is right on the issues, but BJP is, and also Aam Aadmi Party, they are trying to mislead people. They are blaming each other on Yamuna's pollution, creating daily debates just to distract people. And we want that people should know that this is basically, they want you to think that the fight is between only BJP and Aam Aadmi Party.
Whereas, but Ms. Acharya, the fact is right now it is a bipolar contest, and I'm purely coming in from the numbers that they were in 2020. If you stand at a 4% vote share in Delhi, then even 5 years down the line, what is seemingly right now is a bipolar contest. So that's, I would think the hard truth of the matter.
One thing is consistently clear, Preeti, that BJP is more concerned about Congress not winning than Aam Aadmi Party winning. And similarly, Aam Aadmi Party has no issue.
Actually, the BJP is very happy that you do well, because it will then impact the Aam Aadmi Party and make its lot easier.
No. Let me remember. Many individuals came together under the banner of Vivekanand Foundation. You remember that? Among them, half eventually joined BJP, while rest joined Aam Aadmi Party.
Ma'am, irrelevant. Okay, irrelevant.
Then, both BJP and Aam Aadmi Party have continuously worked to create a web of illusions.
Okay. Ma'am, it's not, the fact is it's not an illusion. In Delhi, fortunately, unfortunately, it's not an illusion, because where vote share stands, and I would think as a politician, even you understand that you go by the benchmark set in the last election. You stand at 4% vote share. That's it. That's no illusion. Okay, allow me to circle back, Neerja Chaudhary, to bring you back into the conversation. Neerja Chaudhary, the Delhi election usually is decided in the last 6 to 7 days. Till now, what we've seen is rainbow and roses. Now is, I would, reckon, it's going to be a campaign on steroids. What do you expect? Do you think it's going to get as dirty as the last time around, as polarizing? Because polarization didn't work the last time around, Neerja Chaudhary. This time you have the likes of Yogi Adityanath, who are not using the batenge cutting narrative, but actually talking about developments, talking about the Yamuna.
I think you're absolutely right. The last week in any state election, in particular, in any election in India, is the most decisive one. And that's one reason why the big guns of each party are now coming into the fray and starting to campaign old road shows. Otherwise, it was only Kejriwal and Atishi who were seemed to be running the show. All the others were, Yogi Adityanath, Amit Shah has had a road show. The Prime Minister, we don't know what his schedule is going to be in the coming 7 to 8 days. Rahul Gandhi held a meeting today. So he was also not to be seen. And it was only Sandeep Dixit and one or two others who were, fighting in the constituency. So yes, the last week is going to be very decisive, particularly in the beginning. It seemed that Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party were on the front foot. They might get a majority again, though not like last time or in 2015, 62 or 67, no. But now it's become, you don't know which way it's going to go as the momentum is picking up. And broadly speaking, the poorer sections of Delhi remain with Kejriwal, still have faith in him, but the middle classes are now becoming disenchanted and showing their disaffection.
But, Neerja Chaudhary, as I'm going to take final comments, and I'll take one from you. You speak about the middle class. 53% of that middle class voted for the Aam Aadmi Party in 2020. If the faith for Arvind Kejriwal is shaken in the middle class, that could be the death knell of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Yes, I mean, if you look at that, it also depends on what is the middle class. There are varying opinions on that. The 218 survey that the government of Delhi did put, that 90% of the households in Delhi spent less than 25,000 rupees per month. So that is not quite middle class. 10% were above that. Now, or is the middle class? Others have put the middle class in Delhi to be 45%. It depends on which figure you buy into. But the middle class is a very highly articulate group of people. And certainly many of them today are talking about, change, fatigue setting in, not having done what they expected it to. And it's a question of Dil Mange More after 10 years have passed. So where will it all end? I mean, the game is open is what I would say tonight sitting on your show.
All right, the game is open, and I would think it's going to come down to possibly 3 M's. It will be Mahila, middle class and the Muslim vote. And that could possibly be the decider of this election. But Priyanka Kakkad, final comments. We are speaking about the middle class disenchanted where it comes down to the allegations of what the BJP calls the Sheesh Mahal, allegations of corruption, and now dragging in the Yamuna, because many from the middle class will turn around and say you're once again blaming the Bharatiya Janata Party or the central government and not doing what you're supposed to do, safeguard the interest of Delhiites, rather vote them then.
I respectfully disagree with Neerja ma'am. I have very, very high regard for her. I read all her books. See, today what has happened in the economy that Modi ji has provided, that anybody who earns more than 25,000 is in the top 10% of the country. That is the situation. That is the true economics of our country. So I think if in such a scenario there is a government like the Aam Aadmi Party government which ensures that you save 25,000 at least per month when you get free electricity and cheapest electricity. By the way, Delhi in 2025 happens to be the only state in the country with 24/7 electricity and no power cuts. Inverters and generators have become obsolete. I think people also really prefer the Aam Aadmi Party. I will take that, actually I'll take that objection which you raised because that is important to address. See, we have made the people aware of what the central government is up to. So whether it's your perspective how you look at it. We are telling you that that they are sending, for example, water with 6.5 ppm levels, and I have not said one word about the IS officer, but the BJP person chose to blame me and attribute certain statements to me, which I did not.
You will get equal time, ma'am. It's final comments. He's getting 30 more seconds, and you'll get exactly 2.5 minutes.
Modi ji.
Yes, make your point. Yeah. 30 seconds more.
There is a Modi ji who promised. There is a Modi ji who promised you 15 lakh, who promised you foreign investment, who promised you great economy, who promised you pakka houses by 2022. Okay. I mean, if you really want to sit down and talk about, say, how many foreign investments have pulled out or what is
okay,
happening
but you can
or
go
who
on
has
and on
come
about
into the
that.
country
But okay,
with
right now,
investment. Really, we should have another debate on this.
That's another debate,
Yes.
exactly. And Priyanka Kakkar, tonight I would think the Aam Aadmi Party needs to be a little more bothered
Yes,
about
please.
one fact. On how are they going to respond to the Election Commission, because the Election Commission says if you do not provide proof by 8 p.m. tomorrow night,
that is easy,
that
Preeti
the
ji.
Haryana
Truth
government
is
is
our only
contaminating the water
please?
of the Yamuna, then action will be taken. And that could be a jail term, to put that out there. Could be a jail term, depending how hard the EC comes down. Sanju Verma, to bring you into this conversation, that same middle class that Neerja Chowdhury spoke of votes for the Aam Aadmi Party. Possible the faith is shaken in the middle class, but the core voter of the Arvind Kejriwal seemingly still by him.
Preeti, I love doing your debates, but I came into this conversation at around 9:16, and the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson kept digressing, deflecting. She was given a free run to spew venom and deflect from the topic. I need my time without being interjected.
2.5
and I
minutes,
need
ma'am,
my
please
time
go ahead.
alone on the screen. Yes. Because you take the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson on the big screen alone.
Okay, we'll take you
Please
on the
do that
big screen.
particular
Can we get
BJP?
Sanju Verma on the big screen? Ma'am, it's not in my hands. I've told you many times. Take
know
Sanju
that.
Verma on
I
the big
could see
screen. All right. Okay, 2.5 minutes, ma'am. Please go ahead. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Okay. So let me make one thing very clear, that it is not Narendra Modi who's running for the chief minister's position in Delhi. It is not Yogi Adityanath who is in contention for the chief minister's position in Delhi. So yahan baitkar, when the Aam Aadmi Party panelist starts asking for the track record of Narendra Modi and Yogi Adityanath, that is the biggest proof of the fact that Kejriwal has nothing to showcase by way of what he has done for Delhiites for a good 10 years. I will tell you one thing. The Mahila voter will never ever forget that there is a lady called Swati Maliwal. She was beaten black and blue in the CM house in the presence of the former CM Arvind Kejriwal and Kejriwal's wife Sunita Kejriwal. The Delhi Janata will never forget that Aam Aadmi Party pravaktas used to come on debates, and instead of showing support for Swati Maliwal, they used to character assassinate her. So Mahila voter, to bhool jao Kejriwal is baar. Next, very quickly, they keep talking about Kejriwal ka education model. Kejriwal's education model has come under massive criticism from Justice Manmohan Singh of the Delhi High Court, who said 6.5 lakh students in Delhi, Kejriwal run schools, don't even get a school uniform. अरे school uniform तक में आपने स्कैन कर दिया और यहाँ बैठकर you are doing a ढिंढोरा पीटिंग, थपथपाई your feet कि भाई हमारा education model तो वाहवाही के काबिल है. Then let me tell you, 2.5 lakh NCERT textbooks were supposed to be given. Even those were not distributed. वहाँ भी केजरीवाल ने स्कैम कर डाला. There are more than 662 schools in Delhi which either don't have a principal or vice principal. And Preeti, my last point on Delhi's health model. On the health model, let's be very clear. More than 500 mohalla clinics, out of which 486 mohalla clinics today are shut down, and they have turned into waste dump yards. 1 minute. If you have to get a basic X-ray done in Delhi, you have to wait for 6 months as a middle class person. There is one MRI machine for every 1 lakh Delhiites. इसलिए प्रियंका कक्कड़ कौवा कभी भी हंस नहीं बन सकता. इसलिए कौवे की चाल कभी कौवे को हंस नहीं बना सकता.
Sanju Verma, we'll know, because this is, no matter whichever way you look at it, it's a referendum election on Arvind Kejriwal. Bringing in Arunoma Acharya from the Congress for a final word in. Ms. Acharya, the Congress clearly has come in rather late into this election. One election rally many moons ago, then one now. And this time around, there was a marked difference. Rahul Gandhi attacking Arvind Kejriwal and the Sheesh Mahal. And Arvind Kejriwal's also, of course, retorted. And let's listen into that first, and we'll go across to Arunoma Acharya on what Rahul Gandhi said. And of course, then you have Arvind Kejriwal, who's tweeted a short while back attacking Rahul Gandhi.
और एक बात समझ लीजिए, बाकी पार्टी वाले सब, मैं नहीं जानता मोदी जी से डरते नहीं डरते, केजरीवाल जरूर कांप जाते हैं.
All right. He also spoke about the Sheesh Mahal of Arvind Kejriwal. Arunoma Acharya, because Arvind Kejriwal has now tweeted back on X and said that this is the classic language of the team B of the BJP, which is you in this election. You're on mute, ma'am.
Aam Aadmi Party has got a habit of taking credit for Sheila Dikshit ji's work, and they have done this repeatedly, not once. Just now, the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, she said that inverters and power cuts have become a thing of past, whereas this happened during Sheila Dikshit's time. What Rahul Gandhi ji is saying is absolutely correct. But at the same time, as I said earlier, this Sheesh Mahal versus Raj Mahal debate, they have started basically to say that only two of them are there in the fight. But here, Congress, and you said Congress has come late. No, we were not late. We started our campaigning from August itself.
You know, that's not even an argument. Everyone knows that the Congress has come in late where your top brass is concerned. And come late and far between and few.
You didn't say that, but our party, our Karyakartas, our Congress DPCC president, all the participants, they all have started their campaigning from August onwards.
All right.
Before even the list was declared.
Okay.
Now Rahul Gandhi ji is there, and now our leaders are also coming to for the rally. So it's not that, it's not very late.
All right, it's not very late, but it's late. Let's leave it at that and let's see what happens, because ultimately, like I said, it's the last 6 days, but has a cohesive narrative been built by the Congress party? Ma'am, 10 seconds, make your point.
Yeah, I just said that 3 days ago, we have heard Sharad Chauhan, the MLA of Alipur. He was talking about how corrupt Aam Aadmi Party is, how they said setting with the liquor.
Ma'am, everyone is trading barbs and charges. We'll see how it all pans out on the 8th of February when that last vote is counted. Like Neerja Chaudhary said, that it's open now. It can be anyone's game. And we'll know soon, not very far from now. Thank you all for joining us. All ladies, appreciate it. With that, let's quickly move across to our next story, and that comes in usually during the time of elections, because you see parole coming in for rape convict Gurmeet Ram Rahim, who has once again been given a 20-day parole. The Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet was sentenced in 2017 for raping 2 of his disciples. He's serving a 20-year sentence and is lodged at the Sunera jail in Haryana's Rohtak. Take a look at the 305 days of his jail time out on parole once again.
Elections, Dera Sacha Sauda chief Baba Gurmeet Ram Rahim is out on parole. This is the 12th time the Dera chief has been granted parole or furlough since his first conviction in 2017.
1 साल के अंदर वो 70 दिन की पैरोल और 21 दिन की फरलो ले सकते हैं। तो आज जो ये 30 दिन की पैरोल पूज्य गुरु संत गुरमीत राम रहीम सिंह जी इंसान जी को दी गई है, ये कानूनी दायरे के अंदर दी गई है, उनका कानूनी अधिकार बनता है, तो ये पैरोल दी गई है। पूज्य गुरु संत गुरमीत राम रहीम सिंह जी इंसान जी का राजनीति से किसी प्रकार का कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
Gurmeet Ram Rahim has been out on parole for over 305 days. Of the 12 paroles or furloughs he got, 8 came ahead of elections. In February 2022, he got 21-day furlough ahead of Punjab polls. Same year in June, he was out again for 30 days before municipal polls in Haryana. In October, he got a 40-day parole ahead of Adampur Assembly by-poll. Next year in July, he got 30-day parole ahead of Haryana Panchayat polls. In November that year, he was released on 21-day furlough ahead of Rajasthan Assembly polls. On January 19, 2024, Gurmeet Ram Rahim got 50-day parole, months ahead of Lok Sabha elections. In August last year, he was out for 21 days. Then a month later, he was again out on parole for 21 days, just days before Haryana polls. Now on January 28, 2025, he again gets 30-day parole just a week before Delhi polls. The BJP government in Haryana claims no rules have been violated in granting parole.
देखिए पैरोल के अपने कार्यक्रम हैं और सरकार उसी के तहत वो काम करती है, किसी को भी ऐसी वो नहीं मिल सकती।
Such is Baba Gurmeet Ram Rahim's clout. No political party questions the frequent paroles granted to the man who was convicted of rape and murder. With Kamalji Sandhu and Aman Bharadwaj in Chandigarh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, as uncanny as it can be, before every election there's parole. Before every election you track the parole that Gurmeet Singh has gotten. His official Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to visit his friend Donald Trump in the White House next month. The two leaders held their first phone call after Trump's return and spoke on a range of issues from security to arms. The big focus will be immigration, tariffs and China on the Trump-Modi talking table.
The Trump-Modi dosti has just got a mega power boost. The 47th President of the United States told reporters on board Air Force One that a face-to-face meeting between Trump and Modi may happen soon, with Narendra Modi likely to visit the White House as early as February. Trump's word came hours after the two leaders spoke over the phone, their first since Trump's thumping return to the White House. Referring to Donald Trump as his dear friend, Prime Minister Modi reiterated that India and the United States are committed to a mutually beneficial and trusted partnership. The two leaders discussed security in the Indo-Pacific and the Middle East. Donald Trump emphasized the need for India to increase its US weapons procurement and for the two nations to move towards fair bilateral trade ties. Both leaders not only reaffirmed their commitment to advancing India-United States strategic ties, but also to the Indo-Pacific Quad partnership. India is set to host the Quad summit later this year. The big elephant in the room, immigration, was also raised by Trump in his phone call with Prime Minister Modi. The US President said that he's hopeful Modi will take the right decision on illegal immigrants. In Washington, D.C. last week, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar did say India is open to taking back illegals.
We are also very firmly opposed to illegal mobility and illegal migration. But we have been consistent, we have been very principled about it, and that remains our position.
The Trump-Modi bonhomie provided more than enough photo ops the last time round. But with Trump 2.0 being more transactional in approach, trade tariffs, immigration and China will dictate the evolution of the Indo-US partnership. Bureau Report, India Today.
On the big story, China's DeepSeek AI model has shaken the world of artificial intelligence. The open-source AI R1 model dethroned OpenAI's ChatGPT in the Apple App Store for most number of downloads, making waves for building a model similar to ChatGPT but far lesser cost. See this report.
DeepSeek. It's all what everyone is talking about. The Chinese startup is shaking up the AI universe. Its new generation of AI models are competing with the ones developed by US big tech, but at a fraction of the cost. Even the US president has taken note.
Today and over the last couple of days, I've been reading about China and some of the companies in China, one in particular, coming up with a faster method of AI and much less expensive method. And that's good, because you don't have to spend this much money. I view that as a positive, as an asset. So,
DeepSeek claims to have spent around $3.5 million to train its V3 model, delivering the same results that took Google, OpenAI, Meta and others hundreds of millions of dollars to achieve. According to Epoch AI, Google and OpenAI spent around $70 million to $100 million in 2023 to train Gemini 1.0 Ultra and GPT-4 frontier models.
this is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas. We're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution.
Analysts are calling it a tipping point of AI economics.
This really goes to show that necessity is the mother of invention, as the old saying goes.
is they don't necessarily have the tens of billions of dollars that some of these companies in the US have. And they wanted to compete. They had perhaps a better algorithm, a better idea about how to train the models, and then also how to execute on it for answering people's questions. And they are using a slightly different technique, which is apparently, based on the data so far, a lot more energy efficient and efficient in terms of the chips that it might take as well. They were able to really do this on what some people would call a shoestring budget.
But there are apprehensions too. DeepSeek CEO and founder Liang Wenfeng is a billionaire who runs a hedge fund. These images of him meeting with Chinese Premier Li Qiang on 20th January have fueled concerns about the tech company's proximity with the Chinese government, putting the spotlight on data sharing. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News at 9. We're going to see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a good night ahead.